My name is Andrew Daines. I'm the Director UK and Ireland for Visit Flanders. Well, I've worked in travel all my life. My first role was with Hayes & Jarvis when they were still an independent tour operator back in the early 90s. I had a short spell with Ingham's, a ski operator in Lakes and Mountains. I then worked for Holiday Autos for a little while. In 1997 I joined what was then the British Tourist Authority and the English Tourist Board, and that really gave me my first flavour of destination management. I stayed with what then became Visit Britain in 2003 for 14 years, and I worked a lot on online marketing initiatives, also a little bit in overseas operations, and in 2011 I left Visit Britain and joined Visit Flanders in 2012 as their director for the UK and Ireland markets. Visit Flanders is the official tourist board for the northern region of Belgium, and we have 13 key strategic markets around the world, one of which is the UK and Ireland, and that's my responsibility. In our office we market directly to consumers, we work very closely with the travel trade, we work with the press and media, and with the meetings and incentives industry as well, so we really cover all the bases in tourism. So Flanders really encompasses the 6 art cities, that's Antwerp, Bruges, Brussels, Ghent, Leuven and Mechelen, the Belgian coast, the 40 miles of beautiful sandy beaches and 10 resorts, and of course the very historic area of Flanders Fields around Ypres, Poperinge, Zonnebeke, Dixmude and Newport. In the UK and Ireland, Flanders is a really fantastic destination for short breaks, and that's really what we focus on, a 2 or 3 or 4 night stay in one of the art cities, or perhaps a trip to Flanders Fields or the coast. It's really easy to get to, so you're minimising the amount of time you're spending travelling, maximising the amount of time you've got in our great destination. In terms of how we measure success, we really measure success in 3 ways at Visit Flanders. So we measure the economic benefits that we bring, so number of arrivals, number of overnight stays. We also measure the symbolic value of how people feel about Flanders, what the warmth is towards our great destination. And the third element is measuring the social capital of our destination as well, ensuring that people, irrespective of any accessibility need that they have, low incomes, etc., can enjoy our products and can experience the benefits of tourism that I think a lot of us in the travel industry take for granted. We've got a great team of professionals at Visit Flanders, both in the head office in Brussels and in the offices around the world. But we do supplement that with expertise that we're buying from specialist agencies. So for instance, with the world's biggest blog trip, Flanders is a festival, we brought in a specialist social media agency to help us with that. In the UK, we engage with a marketing agency to put out our marketing campaigns. And on the MICE sector in the UK as well, we've just engaged with a specialist MICE agency to give us an extra edge there. So I think it's really a complementary approach that we take at Visit Flanders. Typically for visits to the art cities from the UK, we look at couples, probably in their 30s and above, who can sort of experience our fine gastronomy, our amazing museums and galleries and exhibitions, and admire the magnificent architecture, much of which is protected by UNESCO World Heritage. For products like the Flanders Fields country and the Great War Centenary commemorations, the market segments are a little bit different. So it ranges from school groups, and increasingly we're seeing school groups going out, not least with the initiatives of the UK government, with the Scottish government, with the Welsh Assembly government recently, and also in Ireland as well, sending a lot of school groups out to learn about the history of World War I in Flanders Fields. And then it stretches right through to families and to people with personal connections, older groups that like to go out and explore that particular part of Flanders. I think destination marketing is continually challenging, but I think that's one of the aspects of the industry that keeps it really interesting and keeps people like myself really motivated to do it even more. So whether it's changes in technology, embracing social media, embracing mobile, being constantly a little bit ahead of where the customer needs to be. Obviously there's a growing choice of destinations around, and established destinations like Flanders and like the art cities in Flanders are continually faced up against newer destinations. As I say, people wanting to be sort of online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people expecting sort of ever more in terms of customer service, rightly so. I think destinations have to be, as I say, really one step ahead of where the customer needs to be. We've started work, as I think you're probably aware, for the commemoration of the Great War Centenary next year. And we've been doing a lot of work with the travel industry, the travel trade in the UK and Ireland this year. And in March we set out to bring a group of operators over to Flanders Fields to showcase some of the renovated and refurbished sites in the area, to tell them about our plans for the next 4 years. And the particular trade trip was oversubscribed. We had a 55-seater coach leaving the UK, and every single one of the seats was full. We had to turn people away. So we had to repeat the trip again. In September we brought another 30 operators from the UK and Ireland out to the region. And one of the things that I've been particularly pleased to see over the last few weeks, talking to some of the operators, are the fruits of that particular work, where, having gone out there, operators that haven't featured our destination before are programming not just Great War Centenary and battlefield trips, but also trips to encompass trips to our breweries and trips to our art cities. So that really gives me a lot of satisfaction that myself and I should say my team as well, who work very hard on this, are doing work in the right sort of way. And we've got a fantastic array of great museums in our country, really well put together, really professional, and some that are really quite quirky. I love the Comic Strip Centre in Brussels, which is housed in a magnificent Art Deco building and really tells the history of comic strips and how it's a really integral part of Belgian life. Really fascinating museum. It's got a great cafe as well. We've got a brand new museum in Antwerp called the Red Star Line, which is the story of people on the move, people from Central and Eastern Europe that were escaping poverty and sometimes persecution, selling all their worldly goods in order to buy a ticket on this ocean liner which took them across the Atlantic to New York and other places in the US and Canada for the hope of a better life. And there are some magnificent stories captured in that museum, housed in what was the former warehouses of the shipping line and right by the River Scheldt on the port of Antwerp. Also in the Flanders Fields area, the In Flanders Fields Museum and the Memorial Museum, Passchendaele 1917. Again, as I mentioned before, I've had a lot of reinvestment over the last few years and are really state-of-the-art museums that present the relics and stories from the past in a really 21st century way.